There's loads of weird stuff. I was talking to someone about alcohol limits today, but that's a really funny one. You know, the men's maximum alcohol limit that they
What do
literally
you
made
mean?
it up. I think it's 2.5 units a day, but they literally made that up because
Oh, recommended.
yeah, because the variables are so ridiculous.
That's weird, isn't it? Because the recommended should be 0.
Yeah, but it's no. So it's the recommended maximum. It's not recommended. They go, and if you go to bed, you haven't had anything, take a double whiskey.
Yeah, the recommended maximum
Love.
2.5. 2.5.
Yeah, I think it's
I think
2.5.
so. It says on the cans, doesn't it?
They made it up. They literally were in a room and they went, the variables are massive because it depends on your weight, ethnicity, age. And they went 2.5 and they went, that sounds like we thought about it. And they just wrote it down. And now people go, how many units of alcohol, like your dentist? And then you go, what's it got to do with you?
Yeah.
But it's literally pointless.
The 2,500 calories for a bloke per day was made up as well.
Was it really amazing?
Completely arbitrary.
Fuck. But he's like, swing back towards religion.
COVID death count.
That's
just a guesstimate, wasn't it? Each day. But we used to follow it like the football scores.
Yes, I did.
But it's like the football match we couldn't not allowed to see. So any score could be given.
I remember having a swing it back. There's a good link here. I remember when the Pope did his COVID speech when it first started going, and I remember doing the thing that I do with my wife, where I pretend something's real. We were watching TV, and it said BBC News, the Pope talks about COVID, and I remember shouting upstairs to my wife, "Popey bollocks is on the TV. We're all sorted."
He's an interesting, not him specifically. That role is an interesting. I mean, I like his little red
terrifying
shoes.
role.
I like his little red shoes, but I agree with Carl Pilkington. Like, they need to get some younger guys in.
Yeah,
I mean, if you keep employing guys over 80 for your job, don't expect to not be having to recruit again. You know, and recruitment fees these days, you know, it's like 3 months' salary and all that.
I honestly, it's such an odd thing.
Even the Vatican City is incredibly bizarre in a way. If you take a step back,
in a way, yeah, it is.
It's just this little corner of Earth that's like sacrosanct, isn't it? From all known rules.
So it's basically it's a principality, isn't it? So it's effectively its own country.
Yeah. So that whole setup, I don't mind. I am not against pomp and circumstance, though. We've said said before, haven't we, about things like the Jubilee and, you know, Queen's birthday, and I don't mind that trooping of the colours and all that sort of stuff.
As long as I don't have to.
I like a bit of tradition.
If I don't have to watch it, I don't care.
Yeah, I'm not going to have to watch it. I don't mind a bit of tradition and all that. And that whole Pope thing just seems like that now, doesn't it?
But there's loads of
little smoke comes up when he's.
There's loads of insincerity, isn't there? Like the Pope was married.
Check his balls. Do you know about that?
The Pope was married until about the Pope was a married person until like the 6th century or something like that. I remember there's something quite interesting. The Bible.
He has the ear of God.
Where is it? In a box?
No, they've got a direct line to God.
That's what I've heard that.
But don't you know about his chair, special chair?
No. What's this balls?
That's it. There's a chair with a hole in.
Right, I don't believe.
And part of the initiation or admin for the role is
they put Nutella in the hole.
Once you've been crowned in that, you have to sit on this chair so someone can double check you've definitely got testicles. Didn't you know that?
My answer was better. They put a little pot of Nutella in there, and you have to dip them. You just dip them, and that's if yours is true, mine's no less stupid. You got to dip them.
I'm pretty sure that's true because I saw it on one of these, like things. These sort of half-assed travel docs.
Have you got? I've got. The other thing is, there's got. I can't hide there. I have friends who are religious, and I quite like the feistier religious friends of mine. I've got one of my friends is Buddhist. He once asked me if I'd read. This is this is how people. I must think of how my brain works. He just said to me, could you read these 2 books on Buddhism? And I said, I don't care about Buddhism. And he said, no, I know you don't. He said, but could you just read them and say, I just want to know which one, according to someone who doesn't care, would be a better introduction to Buddhism. So I read both the books. And
so
said,
he's a Buddhist.
Yeah, he's a Buddhist, but he'd got there was a friend of his who wanted to be a Buddhist. And so he asked me to read the books from a neutral point of view and then say to him which book would be a better book. So before we started recording, I said I don't know anything about other religions, but actually Buddhism I'm not that bad on. There's lots of things that people get wrong. They think that this is a good message that people need to get into their heads. There is no such thing as good karma. You cannot bank it. It is not possible. When you see people on Facebook going, do you know what, my nan's bike's broken, so I changed the wheel, but put the good karma in my pocket. It's like, no. The Buddhist teachings say that the deed is that is the reward. It is one and the same. Being a decent person is its own reward. You don't need it. You don't go, well, I'm keeping it. You can't do that and then buy a raffle ticket. That's not how it works.
Kind of does.
I don't. So I know a little bit.
I kind of know what you mean. I actually thinking about that question. I actually don't have that many religious friends. Hardly any. I've got a friend who's a Sikh.
Okay.
And I like their setup. They've got.
It's probably the one I know least. Religion I know the least about. There were some fantastic scenes. Was it last year when Dover got completely clogged with the tailback, and the Sikh church delivered meals to all the truck drivers?
Yeah, they do some lovely acts, and there's some nice traditions, but it's not very. It's not as militant as a lot of other ones. There's no sort of specific rules on lifestyle as such, which is quite nice. And it's a lot of like passages in it that sort of do nod to the fact that no one can be sure of any of this.
Oh, okay.
There's actual bits that say, there may or may not be a god, but let's assume there is and crack on.
How good would that be as an opener if you went to the local sort of Anglican church and they went, okay, just a bit of a disclaimer.
Let's hedge our bets, guys.
Disclaimer before we start. This could be a load of bollocks, but if it's true, you're in.